Our friends Jamison Coyle and Mike Rupp are going to attempt to weather the storm out in Tampa here ahead of Game 5. They worked the late show last night, got on a flight at who knows what time. We're going to send you over to them. And Jamison, I don't know how your Doppler radar skills are, but what can you tell us about this storm?
Well, it's coming. Let's put it that way. I'll tell you this, Rupper. Jim Cantore on his way to Tampa right now with the Weather Channel, and let's put it this way: he's not looking for tickets for Game 5 on Wednesday night. He is here for the storm. We have the Doppler radar here, so yeah, they're expecting a hurricane. It just got upgraded to a hurricane a couple hours ago, but the show must go on, so everybody's going to kind of hunker down, play it safe. They're used to that this time of year around these parts, so. The show will go on Wednesday night, Game 5 here at Amalie Arena.
Yeah, and I think that the Montreal Canadiens want to add to that story and just kind of create their own storm in this series. And it's going to be a huge game, obviously, with them having a must-win. But they've got to play a lot of the same way they did in Game 4.
All right, the storm, the winds will be picking up. They'll be making some noise. The one player for Montreal who's really made some noise for you, not only this year, but also last year for Montreal in the bubble, Nick Suzuki. He's got 8 points in his last 8 games. Why does this young player really elevate his game this time of year?
Yeah, that's the thing I love about him the most, I think, is that a lot of times when you come into the league, right, and you have a young player, a young skilled player, and you're able to have some success, it's I don't want to say it's easy because it's never easy to play in this league, but it's more about, all right, now that you're on people's radar and now that people game plan towards you, right, and with the lack of, I guess, center ice depth that this team has, he's a guy that you look to shut down. It's about what are you able to do? Watch this all day long. What a feed, what a play. Last year in the bubble, and now he's been their best player, and that's what I want to see. I want to see young players that when teams try to key in on you, play you physical, try to pound you and make life miserable for you, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to respond? How are you still going to be productive? He's done a phenomenal job with that, and he's driving offense. I mean, he's been the best Montreal Canadiens player as far as the forward group in the last 2 playoffs, and I think that's a great, outside of what happens here in the Stanley Cup Finals, they've got a good one in Nick Suzuki, and he's just going to keep getting better.
All right, we're not sitting here today if it wasn't for the penalty kill last night, a perfect 5 for 5 for Montreal, and not the usual suspects killing off those penalties. Some unsung heroes stepping up in a big-time role last night.
Yeah, and I think that even if you look at it as far as a lot of times you have to have a crew, right? You got your PK unit, you've got your first group, your second group, you have your third group that you have your rotation you go through. But when you have a guy like Shea Weber that's in the box, I mean, he's one of the best on their team down line, which is a big loss for Tampa. But you're losing 2 of your top 4 that you rely upon so heavily. So, and what did they do there that time? Romanov gets his goal. Tampa ends up getting one as well, but I thought that was a real pivotal point as well. So the killing of the penalties is big, especially when those guys that kill penalties are in the box. But that was a big moment in the game, I thought, when they had those coincidentals there, how they managed that, because I thought that was a big opportunity for Tampa.
All right, a big moment prior to Game 4. Dominic Ducharme really making some big changes to his lineup, takes out the youngster Jesperi Kotkaniemi. If you're Ducharme, do you put Kotkaniemi back in for Game 5?
I do. I don't think
you don't sound very confident about that.
I don't think he will. Okay. I think he's going
to
probably... I would do it because I've been that player. I've been that player who gets sat out and kind of prods you. And I think that in this situation, and from what Kotkaniemi's done in his young career, he knows he can play. He knows he can be a factor in this series. So when you push guys' buttons, and we remember, he didn't start the playoffs. And I think his first game that he got into the series, I think he scored in his first game, and you get reactions out of guys. You need a reaction out of your team still to get to another level. I'd put him back in, but the big question is who would come out then? And I don't know, is it Eric Stahl? Probably not, because he plays center ice, and with the veteran leadership, they brought him in for a reason. So then you start looking around, is that Evans? I liked Evans' game in the last game. So it's a big question mark. I would do it. I think that we've seen many times when you get a guy and you push the buttons, he comes through, and you know that KK-15 is ready to go.